So today I'm cleaning up some sunflower stalks. I let them sit out in the weather for the winter. They get to a state where they're, grab one here, where the bark that's on the roots has kind of fallen off. This stuff here, it's cleaned it off pretty nicely. Quite a bit of it already gone, and I've got a couple of little dental tools that I picked up in an Army surplus store. Whoa, hey Toby, come here. So I just kind of go through here and pick this stuff out. You can see it'll come out in chunks like this. You just scrape it, it just easily falls out for the most part. Otherwise, if you do it right, like right after you pull it out of the ground, it's really hard to get off because it's, it's kind of the skin of the root, and being the skin of the root, it's protective. But once the roots have gotten wet and dried a few times, they start to expand and contract, and they dry out because the death of the plant, obviously. Everything, when it dies, dries out, the water evaporates out. And then, but in doing it that way, you maintain the integrity of the root. Hey, be quiet, Toby. Leave him. Chaser, Toby. Neighbor's dog's over there messing with him. And even down the stalk, you can see this just kind of flakes out too. Goes right down to the wood finish. Not all of it will come out that easy. Some of it will. But then I'm right down to the wood. You can see that skin coating has come off. But you can see all the grains. You can see the different colorations. There's staining from probably mold and fungus that's gotten in there and started to break it down. But I'm going to sand all that off. And I'm going to take all this bark off. And I'm going to make this into kind of a talking stick, speaking stick. It's got holes in it. So we've got a lot of interesting ways of seeing it. You can see there's kind of a double nose out here, almost like an elephant. As you go through and do it this way, you'll find each one's unique, each one has its own shape, each one has its own uniqueness. And I kind of like to equate that with our own uniqueness, how each of us have our own. And so I just let this become what it's going to become. It was grown by nature in whatever shape it is. I'm not going to fashion it into anything. I'm just going to let this root become what it's going to become. A lot of times there'll be little pieces like this, and I'll just pop those out when they're really small ones. Ones that come out easy, like they're going to probably break off anyway, so if I've got something that's this thin, like this, I'll just break that off. Because it's going to get broken off in the use of the stick and passing it around from person to person or whatever way you decide to use it. But I'm going to create these with an intention of their beauty and their connectedness to nature, and in being that, they're also a reflection of who we are, the inner beauty which each of us reflect. Just letting nature be the artist on these. You can do it too. I mean, it's fascinating to spend a little time in there and clean some of those off. So if you're growing sunflowers, this is something you can do with the roots and make big tall walking sticks out of them too. I've got several of those that are, I'm 6 feet too, they're taller than me. I've got some that are probably 7 feet long. But try that. It's something you can do with sunflowers. It's a good way to spend the winter after you grow your sunflowers. It's a cool hobby. So I encourage you all to try it. And if I see something taking shape in here, like this could possibly be an elephant. It could also be a lower torso of a body with 2 legs. I may cut that off to match it up, and I may not. Just, I do whatever I feel in the moment. of what it is that I see. And as you look closely and you pay attention, it becomes a very meditative process in doing it as well. And it allows me to be doing something and keeping my physical body kind of busy doing something, and just doing it with wonder and fascination. We kind of all have to get back to that place at a certain point of our lives where we had that curiosity as children. And I've found that getting back to that place helps me to kind of see things through the eyes of a child again. You start to see beautiful, beautiful things that are around us all day, every day, all the time, and we just don't take the time to notice them. So I encourage you to take time to notice them, and this is just one example, these beautiful roots, and how nature is a reflection of the beauty that we each hold within us. Made with love.